And always good to expose the goons on big tech social media. And again, 16 Facebook accounts burned down for exposing the truth, the proof, the evidence and the facts, freedom of speech and expression, freedom of choice and a peaceful protest of innocence. And this is the same Facebook and the goons on big tech social media. Again, over the last 5 years, have you mentioned the Wuhan lab? You got a strike or your account burned down. Have you mentioned gain of function research? You got a strike or your account burned down. You mentioned vaccine injuries and deaths. You got a strike or your account burned down. The goons on big tech social media falsely claimed was medical misinformation, though it was all true. We'll just give you an example here. We've got something flagged up here on their fact checkers, but when you try and see what it is, what they're talking about, fact check, so we can get through to it. See details, but what details? You can press on it, but it don't go anywhere. So they'll blacklist you, put your posts on the lowest possible feeds, and then you can't even appeal or get a review. Oh, hang on, we've got something through here. We've moved your content to a lower feed. They didn't show what the post, even what the post was. And sometimes when you try to get through to a review that says, oh, there's a problem, something's blacked out. And again, you're sharing things that are coming through on Facebook feed, so you take it that the information is okay because it's on a Facebook feed. But then when you share it to your timeline, you then get blacklisted and all your posts get moved to a lower feed. But the posts that are coming through on Facebook feeds that hasn't got any warnings on them that there's something wrong with the post, so you share it in good faith, again, because that is on Facebook's. But like I say, the goons on big tech social media, the corrupt governments and powers to be, cannot stop the truth, freedom of speech and expression, freedom of choice, peaceful protest of innocence. And everything that they've tried to suppress and cover up is all now coming out for the world to see. And the corrupt powers to be and the goons on big tech social media, ban and blocking the truth and everyone's freedom of speech and expression. I don't know why they call it social media, because it's not really social media at all if they don't like what you have to say. And again, if you're ever set up for a crime that you didn't commit, it's a very interesting observation. That'll be you who'll be banned, blocked, deleted, punished, blacklisted, shadow banned for exposing the truth. That'll be your social media accounts that are burned down. That'll be you who'll be boxed up, locked up, or done in, disappeared one way or another. 5 YouTube channels burned down for mention adrenochrome that had no strikes. And there's lots of talk about, lots of talk about the global satanic cult that many are trapped in. So again, plenty of high crimes, Jack the Ripper crimes, and certainly not mine. And that's the real Beauty and the Beast story, Royal Sandringham Estate killing fields, late Prince Philip's favourite hunting area. 17-year-old girl who was abused and hunted, found dead on New Year's Day. Again, see Prince Harry despair for details. That is the word that came off the Royal Sandringham Estate, killing fields, loud and clear. So they'll certainly box you up, lock you up, to silence, to stop you exposing the truth, or to cover up high crimes, royal blue murder. Certainly not mine. And again, a very deadly serial killer virus in this Norfolk, UK, all delivered by this post office, Royal Mail, postie assassins, vigilantes, postie mail. They certainly will devour and feast on me, tear me apart, crack my frame-fixed head, drink my unvaccinated blood. If they can make a princess disappear, they can certainly make a nobody like me disappear. And that's a very good watch, the Reigns list. That is disclosed in the Reigns list, how they wear claws to claw their victims, human hunting parties, human hunting, feasting, blood drinking, harvesting adrenochrome. And a lot of people believe that Lucy Letby was framed and set up as the serial killer nurse by the management, consultants, senior doctors and their bogus expert, all to cover up their backs. They could have been on manslaughter charges for medical negligence and malpractice and the appalling conditions at the hospital. So a lot of people believe that, and that's experts too, experts who are far more qualified than their bogus expert. 13 experts said there were no murders. The babies died due to other factors. So Lucy Letby, if she is innocent, has just spent 3 years of her life set up as the serial killer nurse in prison to cover the doctors and the consultants, to cover their backs. So, high royal blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September blue murder, certainly not mine. See Prince Harry the Spare for details, not alone. If I go down, you go down. Royal blue murder, certainly not mine. This SS Police, Norfolk Bacon SS, Windsor Gestapos, the local Nazis. Simon Bailey Don't Cry and his blonde host plainclothes lover, not true detective, and her partner, or not true detectives. This Mason Council, White Lodge, the local mafias, the local mob, and all their cronies, spies and informers, pushing all their mad monster lies, bogus diagnosis and death threats in this Norfolk, UK. Can see number 10, Keir Starmer and the Labour loonies for details. And that's a good watch, Loch Ness, but certainly no cold-blooded predator, serial killer here, Africa, Diz, Norwich and Sandringham. Really don't think so. A royal blue crime, blue murder, certainly not mine. Can see Prince Harry the Spare for details. The word that came off, the Royal Sandringham Estate, Killenfields, loud and clear. And again, the Dutch model, who was the first one to expose the Epstein Island. So they put her into a psychiatric hospital to silence her, to stop her exposing the truth. So plenty of high crimes, Jack the Ripper crimes, castles, manor houses, UK's Devil Island, country estates, and certainly not mine. And it's not just Prince Andrew. So certainly is the one.